Hello gorgeous, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are playing with all drugstore products. I have new products from Physicians Formula, from Milani, from Nyx, from Wet n Wild. We are playing with a lot of new drugstore products, but I have also sprinkled in some tried and true favorites. If that sounds like something you are interested in watching, please stay with me. So we are going to start with the eyes, and this is the Wet n Wild Eyeshadow Primer. Not new, it's a fave, inexpensive, does the job. Go ahead and set that with the Wet n Wild Loose Finishing Powder. Now you may have recalled a while back I tried the Wet n Wild Color Icon in Go Commando. It got an "it's okay" response from me. Well, I just couldn't help myself and I had to jump into a bigger one to see. Sometimes colors make a difference in the formula, so I wanted to see if trying a different color story would make a difference. This one is called Lights Off, so we're going to play with this one today. But let me go ahead and zoom you in so you can get a better look at these colors. Be right back. I'm back, and we are getting a closer look at this palette right here called Lights Off. We have some warm tones and cool tones in this palette. It's just like a taupe. We've got a matte gray, a shimmer gray. This looks like a black with some sparkles, a black, a navy green, a olive green. We've got a chocolate, a copper, a lighter champagne, and then a brighter champagne than that. So what I'm gonna do is stick to the warm tones today. I'm gonna use this Wayne Goss number 6 because there's not really a transition shade to use. So we're gonna start with the darker shade and we're going to go in a slightly different order, basically starting with the outer edge first and then working it in. So let's see how that works for us. A clean brush to blend away any part that got a little too heavy. You can always use translucent powder for that as well, just to assist you if the blend has gotten a little too much. Okay, next we are going to jump in with this darker bronze shimmer. A little more on the outer corner. Pressing that in. And next we'll go in with this lighter champagne shimmer here. Not as bright as I would like it to be. But I'm going to go back in with that transition shade. Make sure that the shimmer has not come up over into the transition. Always best to look straight when you're applying the shadows so that you can make sure that you've applied it evenly. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into that bottom lash line. I'm going to go in with a flat brush with the chocolate brown again. Going a little bit deeper on the outside, and then remember where you first place the brush is where the most pigment lies, and then you can spread out from there. Can't say it's my favorite, but for a $5 palette, this will do. I will warn you though, it is very hard to open this. I have broken my nail twice. So if you have nails, you have been warned. Let's continue with the love for Wet n Wild and go in with the Breakup Proof black liner. Doing the waterline on top. Just on top to lengthen those lashes. Go a little bit on that upper edge above the waterline, just for definition. I want to brighten that inner corner, so I'm going to jump in with my Wet n Wild highlighter. I'm just going to go in with my finger right into here, and this is just a nice gold that I think is going to give me the pop in that inner corner that I'm looking for. Yes. That's better. And that's a little tip I would recommend. If you have a shadow palette that's sort of letting you down in the shimmer department, go in with your highlighter. You will get a little more bang for your buck on the corners there, and we could even throw some in the inner corners. I didn't get it with concealer yet, but we will see. So let's go ahead and check for fallout. And we do. We need to rehydrate under the eyes. I would make sure that you know that you should rehydrate under those eyes, because you don't want those crepey under eyes. A very light layer, because you don't want it to be too much. But just go in with a little bit of your eye cream to put a little bit of that moisture back in. So let's go ahead and throw on some top mascara, and then I can zoom you out and work a little bit more on the face. Going in with my Big Papa from Wet n Wild. Current favorite. If you are interested in any of the products that I talk about today, I will have them linked in the description box below. I'll have the product and a link to go find the product. But obviously, you know, Wet n Wild is very easy to locate at the drugstore. But if you're like me and have been doing a lot of online shopping, this is good too. Just poked my eye. Eye is watering. We're gonna be okay. I've not experienced flaking or smudging, but Wet n Wild had a deal for a 2-pack at a discount, so I have 2 backups of this mascara already. That's gonna tell you how much I love it. I have mascaras in my drawer that I haven't even opened yet. I can wait. Fantastic. Next, we are going in with the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrater. I am so excited to talk to you guys about this. I tried it the other day for the first time and it wore fabulously. That's what it looks like. I am going to rub it in with my fingers. You could use a brush. I personally would not use a sponge, because when you use your fingers or a brush, you're going to get a little more coverage out of it. And I am not a super light coverage kind of girl. I have some sunspots and acne to cover, so I want light, I want moisturizing, but I don't want sheer. I mean, it just feels like a light lotion going on your face. I see a little bit of shine right now, but it does dry down to a soft skin-like texture. I still have you zoomed in. Let me zoom you out. Very happy with that. And we are going to jump into our Incognito concealer from Wet n Wild again. I've been applying concealer on a different way and totally reverted back to my old ways for that moment, but that's okay. We will do it the old way. I just find that when I put it on my hand and then on with the brush, it seems to, I tend to not be as heavy-handed, but I think we're gonna be okay. I can always add a little bit more down here to sheer out that amount of product that I used. I'm going to go back to that translucent setting powder from Wet n Wild and a fluffy brush. Let's just throw some of this on. So we've used a lot from Wet n Wild so far, and I would say my favorites have been the Tinted Moisturizer, the mascara, and the liner. What's lagging behind is the eyeshadow and the concealer. I'm using a new brow product from, new to me. It is from NYX. It is the Eyebrow Gel. I thought this looked very interesting, and it is in the shade Brunette. I have tried this once, and you have to really be careful because it is super pigmented but super long lasting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an angled brush like for your brows that has a spoolie on the end, and I'm going to first brush through my brows, and then I'm going to put this in. Second time using this. I think this is going to be a big winner, especially for the summertime, because it seems to really be long lasting. Like even when I washed my face at the end of the night, it did not want to come off. So I can just see myself sitting at the beach or super hot weather and this being a great option. Okay, so I went a little further in than I would like, but that's all right, as long as they match, which they kind of do. We are going to move on to this product right here from Physicians Formula. I found this online. It looked super cool. I've been seeing all these bronzer and contour products that have been recently released, and Patrick Ta, Wayne Goss, and while I'm very interested in those products, I thought a safer way to play with contour would be to go with a drugstore option. And this is from Physicians Formula. It's called Bronze Booster. And when you open this up, it has got a highlight. This is the contour, and this is the bronzer. I'm going to use this brush right here from Luxie, and I'm going to just use the tip of it because I want to be very controlled with my contour. So contour is going to start right at the top of your ear, and it's going to really, that first inch or two is the most important. And if you're not familiar, contour is going to be about shading, and it's going to be your skin tone with a little bit of like gray. It should never be a shimmer. So you're going to go, I would say, not past the edge right here on both sides. See See that? You can add a little bit of contour on the edges of the nose. And then we're going to jump in with the bronzing shade. And the bronzing shade is going to give you more of a warmed up, sun-kissed. If you're going a little too heavy, just go in with the powder brush to buff that out. Or you can try to spread it. But bronzer is going to give you more of a sun-kissed look. But Physicians Formula is known for their fantastic bronzer. They are one of the best bronzers in the drugstore. And now we're going to jump in with the highlight, which is that top shade. And I'm going to add a little bit of that. And this is going to be a more of a matte highlight. We are going to throw some of that shimmering one from Wet n Wild on top of it, but I wanted you to see what that looked like first. You could even use a little bit of that under the eyes, just for some brightening. Okay, so very nice. Next is a new cream blush. Cream blushes are all the rage right now. I know I love my one from Tower 28. I know that's a little more high-end. Tower 28 is one of my favorites. On the drugstore side, I love the Honest Beauty cream blush and the e.l.f. putty blush. And then I wanted to try this new one from Milani, and it is the Cheek Kiss in the shade Nude Kiss. So I'm gonna jump into my e.l.f. stipple brush and I'm going to put some of this on. It's a nice peachy pink. I would say it kind of goes a little more pink than peach. This is easy to blend. As you know, I already powdered. Some cream blushes will lift up your foundation. This one does not, just like the e.l.f. Does not stay sticky on the face. It dries to a powdery finish. If you want to have that sun-kissed little sunburn look, you can go across the bridge of the nose with it. That gets a thumbs up. Okay, I'm going to add some mascara to the bottom lash line. Okay, let's jump in with another new product. This is the, if you saw my video I did on the e.l.f. and Jen Atkin collection, I tried the face palette, love it. I tried the Bring It On Brown lip stick and lip liner combo, loved it. What else was in that collection? The brown liner, or the black liner is okay, but I wanted to pick this up. I picked up two new items from this collection. I loved the lip liner and lip stick combo so much that I had to pick up the red. The shade is ready to go, but first we're gonna throw this in the brows. And it's got a very interesting brush. This can be used for your brows or for any types of like flyaways in your hair. First impression, I like it. It's going through those brows. Although I do think that that NYX product was pretty darn good. The brush stayed clean, which I like. Okay, so there is that. I am gonna throw on a little bit of my highlighter from Wet n Wild, this goldy highlighter. I have it on the inner lid of my eye, and I just love it. Perfect champagne-y gold. It's so inexpensive and it'll last you a lifetime. Put a little bit on my Cupid's bow. I am going to put a little bit on my inner corners again because I think we lost that with the concealer. and super excited to play with this. So it is the Lip Duo. I have the shade Bring It On Brown. Absolutely love it. It comes with a liner on one side and then a lipstick on the other. So I love red. So let's go ahead and throw this on. Now for the lip color. So it definitely drags across the lips. You could probably see it dragging as I was pulling it across. So my dry lip girls, this may not be an option for you. Or you could try it with a lip balm underneath and maybe just pat the lip balm dry. Or I know there are lip primers out there. Like I have one from NYX in my drawer lip primer that does help in those situations. I love how it is dried down to a velvety matte finish. I think that's beautiful. I also know that based on that, it's going to stay. So sometimes your first lot is going to take off any excess, but then after that, it's going to be extremely long wearing. And you guys saw me use this for the first time, but I can just tell. So that's the first blot. Very, very tiny, if anything. Yeah, this is going to, the teensiest bit is on there. So I think that is a winner. I love it. Let's go ahead and set it with the Wet n Wild Photo Finish in matte. Nice mister. You can dot over it if you like, if you're afraid you have any wet spots. Really, really lovely. So I would say the biggest hits of the day, I did very much enjoy the bronzer. You know I use products that I love. Big Papa, I love so a lot of Wet n Wild. I love the Wet n Wild highlighter, the loose setting powder, the eyeliner. I really enjoyed the brow product. I mean, my brows do not feel stiff, but I'm telling you, it stays on and on and on and on. The biggest letdown was this product. I think you should just stick with e.l.f. If you're going to be in the drugstore, I believe that e.l.f. makes the best eyeshadows in the drugstore. Or better yet, I would go on to Ulta and purchase either ColourPop or Juvia's Place, because they're only, they're basically drugstore prices. So e.l.f. and then if you are limited to the drugstore. But that was the biggest letdown. Otherwise, I loved everything that I used today. I do recommend it, and if you've not subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing before you leave. Let me know what your favorite drugstore products are, and I will see you in my next video. Have a great day.